Let's see. I'm going to have to put you guys down somehow. Okay, and there are 2 people around. Yay! Yay to 2 people. I'm just going to be taking out and seeing what I have. So, okay. So I did say from the title that it was going to be chicken. The chicken and the carrot mousse with apple salad. So this, I think, is what we're making. It's number 17. Okay. My kitchen. Okay. Okay. So the light is really awful. I'm sorry. Oh, hello, Zick. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, wait, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. I am feeling kind of tired and I took a nap and I feel kind of even more tired, if that's possible. So, oh no, I got gross stuff onto the thingy. But so anyway, the basilica chicken. Okay, so we rip this out of this little thingy. My God, they're making it so difficult. Can't they just like, okay, wait. They used to give you just the 3 papers, but now they have to make it so complicated. Okay, there. Let's see. Do I really need that? I don't know. Or to turn some lights on and hope for the best. I mean, you guys will be facing the other direction, so. Okay, anyway, this is what we're making. I have the stuff here. I think I need to make the space a little bit drier before we can get to anything. I did do some dishes beforehand, but oh, God. Okay, we don't need the teapot. Okay. It's been a while since I've done these, so I don't know how to do it. Okay. We're going to look at this. Okay, so apparently this is supposed to be a 40 to 45 minute one, okay? This is going to be even longer than usual. Okay, we take out the ice and I put it into the sink. Okay. Let me show you guys what we have. So, we've got a carrot, another carrot, we've got soy sauce, we've got cooking cream, I guess this is a zucchini, but like a yellow one. We've got potatoes, we've got chicken, we've got, what is this? Basilica. This is honey. This is an apple. Okay, and that was it. Okay, so we put that. Okay, batter aboisud. Yeah, it's a yellow zucchini. I don't know. I haven't seen this before. I don't know what they call it either. Yeah, they just call it a yellow zucchini, according to this. So, we're discovering that now. So, the first step is to cook the root fruits. Basically, the root fruits are the vegetables. So it says to cook up a pot with salted water, and then we're going to be taking care of the potatoes by taking off the skin and putting them into pieces, and also the carrot into pieces, and then we cook them until they're soft enough that we can cut them with a knife, and then we can take off the water and then put back the stuff back into the thing. So this is going to take a long time, right? So I don't know how to do this anymore. Okay. Usually I put you guys up here, but I don't know how to put you guys up there. Wait, let's see. Julien Chevalier. Hello, Julien Chevalier. Never seen you here before. Okay. I'm sorry that I'm turning you guys upside down. It's just that I don't know how to make the screen go the other way around. So at the moment, we're dealing with the potatoes and we're dealing with the carrots and nothing else. Nothing else, nothing else, nothing else. Okay. There. Okay, is my plastic thingy clean? No. That doesn't matter at this point. My carrots is not super great either, but oh well. Now where's my knife? I think I'm going to wait with cooking the water because it's going to take me ages to deal with all the potatoes. How many does it say for 2 people? It says that we need to have 2 carrots and how many potatoes? It says 500 grams. This is 500 grams potatoes, so I guess I have to do all of them. Okay. Oh, I should clean them. Oh, God. No, but I'm going to be taking off the skin. I guess I don't need to clean them. Okay. Where is the potato peeler? Okay, well that's the plastic. Okay, the potato peeler. Where is it? I haven't used these things in 10,000 years. But I do have a potato peeler. Do I have to peel the... Yeah, I have to peel the carrot too. Okay. Well, that's what we're doing. So say hello to each other in chat. I can't see you guys because I'm upside down. So I can't see what you guys are writing. Batter is a new guy. I don't know anything about him. He's been positive, but I'm sorry to say I don't understand some of your comments. They are quite cryptic in their meaning at times. So I often just like it and I don't reply because I don't know how to reply. I don't know. I know that people when they're new, I get confused about like what people's intentions are, so I just stay a little bit away and kind of observe, which is kind of what I do in general society as well, but you know. Okay, we're just peeling this carrot. Okay, you guys can't see anything of what's going on. Anyway, I'm sorry about the fact that I have all these hiatus videos. So basically these videos that I've been posting are 2 to 3 weeks old. And I was in a different mind space, but I'm posting them because I think that it's important to post them. But yeah, sometimes I'm like, people are replying to like how I was 3 weeks ago, and I'm not that way anymore, thank goodness. So there, okay. Oh God, that's really green inside. I'll get back to the chat later. First we need to do all of this cutting, which is very normal for a HelloFresh thing. It's like literally They love their roots, whatever you call it. I don't know if like they're called root vegetables. Ugh, I hate cutting up vegetables. It's my least favorite thing. But we're going to do it. We're going to start with peeling all of it. Maybe somebody in the comments like is used to peeling potatoes. I usually just keep the skin on. But I guess I'm making a puree, so we don't want that. This is going to take me 10,000 years. Why did I choose this today? We'll see. We'll see if I manage to keep this under 3 hours. If it's going to take me just an hour to do all that. This is not good, and I'm not being happy because these potatoes are so small, and I don't want to do this. Oh, God. I feel like I should, like, maybe cook the water at the same time. I don't know. I don't know. This is ridiculous. This potato is really awful. I hate it. Take off this gross part. I don't know. I had a really difficult conversation with my mom yesterday. And it's not even about things that are important to me. I don't know. At this point, like, I'm making videos and they're going to be posted in like a month by the time I've forgotten about the issue. But yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm not opening up to my mom about anything. Oh my God, that's a really green potato. I hope it's okay. No, that's not an okay potato. Let's see if I can take away the green pieces. Yeah, I'm taking away the green pieces here. It's like those green chips that you get sometimes at the bottom of the chips package. I don't like that. Okay. Oh, God. So, yeah, I'm in a much better mood than I was 3 weeks ago, but I am not at all good, you know? Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm absolutely not doing this in an effective way. And I'm probably going to slice my fingers off. Oh, God. I don't think that I have much fun things to talk about. I'm really thankful for everybody who's stayed with me through all of this terrible time. And of course to Sick and to Schumann. Schumann would probably not be joining us in the chat today, but maybe he might lurk, we don't know. We will see. Anyway. This is really boring. I don't like this at all. Okay. I will also give a shout out to Dana Anderson for making her videos of like her daily life with her cooking and her foraging and baking and stuff. Like, it makes me feel less alone that I am struggling with all this terrifying stuff in the kitchen. Because I don't like cooking. I can sort of semi-enjoy it once I'm really in the thick of it out here on YouTube. But it takes me a while and then I get really tired, so. Okay. I mean, I think that most of this recipe is just cutting up vegetables. The actual, like, cooking bits is less of a thing. But of course the chicken is coming in. And the reason why so many of my lives are the chicken is because I'm cooking the chicken first, right? And I'm sorry for my vegetarian viewers, because I kind of always do a non-vegetarian one as my first, which is usually the limes. Okay. I did go buy groceries today, and like I spent a lot of money on groceries, which is kind of standard nowadays, I guess. But it's kind of like, oh God, this does not cover my regular groceries. So I'm basically paying twice as much for my food for the week by doing this HelloFresh. Anyway, that was that. We're just going to keep doing this. I guess that maybe I should check the chat and then I can talk about what's in the chat at the same time. Let me see, where is the chat? Sorry, I don't have, I don't have, wait, we went live chat, not top chat. Okay. Yeah, Sick doesn't like cooking either. You and Dana should become an adoptive parental couple for people. Internet is for internet people. It's for introvert people, yes. It reminds me of that guy. There was this INFP guy from Trinidad and Tobago, and I wonder what happened to him. But I think that he was trying too hard to become famous on YouTube, and it just like didn't work out. But his pseudonym was one of the most genius on here. His name was Internet Introvert. And I wish I had that username. You know, my username is from, I made it up when I was like 15, or younger than that. I was probably like 12 when I decided that Radish Raven was going to be my pseudonym forever, which is kind of how things went down in the early 2000s. It was like, okay, you were a pseudonym and then you were that person forever. And you never revealed your real name. Yeah, those were the days. But also those were not the days, because I was also kind of in the Harry Potter cult before knowing that there was anything wrong with Harry Potter or J.K. Rowling. She ended up becoming quite awful later on. But yeah. I was on what was called Pottermore. Well, not Pottermore. I was on MuggleNet was the name of the thingy, and they had like a forum, and that's where the weirdos hung out before YouTube. You know, that's where we were. Well, I mean, there were weirdos in lots of other kinds of forums and other spaces, but a certain subset were where I was. So, and I would use my family computer and hide. And anytime my parents would go into the room, I would like jump off the computer. And I didn't know about how to delete an internet history. And then I learned that, so I did that. But yeah. Oh my God, I'm sorry I'm so slow about this. I mean, yeah, maybe we're just going to be watching me trying and failing to adequately deal with potatoes. Okay. There we are. Okay, let's go back to the chat. What did I actually miss at the beginning there? What's your MBTI profile? You can boil them with the skin on. You just said that. Yeah, well, I know, but the recipe says. I don't know. I don't want to do it wrong. I don't take enough offense. My comments mostly I try to keep lighthearted. Apologies if they were too heavy. They're not too heavy. I don't. You speak in a poetic way better. And I don't know what that means, because unfortunately there are some guys here on the internet that they try to manipulate me through cryptic messaging. And I'm like, okay, are you actually nice, or are you trying to, I don't know what you're trying to do. But yes, so I've noticed that you are a kind soul on here, so I am happy about that. But yeah, we've had some people, and there are still some people out there that I see them and then I'm like, no, should I block them? Should I not? And then I only block them if they are like literally, I'm unable to have them in my comment section without like entirely poisoning the comment section. In that case, I give them 2 tries. And then if they don't manage after the second try, then I block them. I think that that's pretty healthy to do. Yeah, I don't know why I guess that they want us to peel the potatoes because we're going to be boiling the cubes later on. And so we don't want to boil the entire potato before we cut them into cubes, because I don't think that we can. Oh yeah, we want to make mousse. So we need to do all of the preparation first, because we're mixing the potatoes with the carrots. So yeah, I mean, imagine if I were a housewife in the 1950s and this was what my husband expected for me to do for dinner every day, then of course I would find an effective way of doing this. But since I'm the only person who's eating this, I can't really put too much effort into cooking stuff. Oh my god. I mean, I'm going to be spending just a half hour just on this. That is quite funny, actually. Okay. So yeah, anyway, I am an INFP. I don't know if people follow me for the MBTI content anymore, or if it's more for the autism content, or if people are just interested in watching somebody trying and failing to do kitchen stuff. I don't really know. Yeah, no, Dana Anderson is, yeah, she does a better job, I think, at doing this kind of stuff. But we're just different. We are just different. Oh my god, this potato. Oh god. Is there anybody from the UK here? Maybe they're frustrated at the eternal potato joke. But they don't say potatoes, they say potatoes too. Or if they're from Middle Earth, then they would say taters. I don't know if anybody's read Lord of the Rings. Anyway, okay. That was all that. Oh my god. That was enough. Enough for today. Everybody can go home and we can all sleep. Now this was just step 1. Okay. Now we're going to be cutting this into small cubes, and now I'm going to take this out of the... Okay. We're just filling in with water, but there's... Unfortunately, I got like this dishwashing thingy that is smells extremely lemony. And I hate it. I hate the lemon smell. I shouldn't have brought it, but okay. So now we're making the cooking thingy here. And we're cutting these into little 2 centimeter big pieces. And then it says to have a 10 to 13 minutes. So during that time, we're going to be doing the chicken, I guess. But this is going to take some time. So I don't know how much 2 centimeters is, but we're going to make it. I think that this is 1 centimeter. I guess that we need to have it even more. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry guys about the sound. Also, this is green, so I don't know if I want that piece of carrot inside. Actually, I think that I'm going to throw this piece out. I'm going to throw this piece out. Okay, so there was that. Okay. How much is 2 centimeters? No idea. We're going to cut these in half, in half, in half, in half. Okay. I guess that you guys have a really bad view of everything that's going on. Maybe I should put you guys onto the side. Like Butter was saying, yeah, just hanging out on the counter. Yeah. Oh, it's smelling. I just cleaned the countertop, but like the thing is, like I don't know which cleaners are good for the countertop. So cleaning is a whole science. I really admire Bufo for like actually being skilled in the skill of cleaning. Like I wish I had given it some of my energy when I was younger. But the thing is, I didn't really have that environment because I lived in a hoarder house where nothing was cleanable, literally. You know, like there were no surfaces to clean. Like the best I could do was to keep tidy the small things that I could keep tidy. So that's why I'm quite like, I don't know. When I was having a discussion with my mom last night, I was like, okay, but how are you judging other people when you yourself? She was like, oh yeah, we went to a person's house and it was really messy. I'm like, have you heard yourself? Have you looked inside your house? You might see a place that is more messy than the place that you are currently describing. But I don't think that I think that she deliberately like does not think about it because it would be too painful, you know? And okay, I'll just say this, but yeah, my parents don't have a functioning fridge in their apartment. And so they go and buy food every day because they live in town, so they get like the food. It's just that next door, you know, the grocery store, right? But like, wow. You know, groceries get really expensive if you start like having to buy things that can't be kept more than a day, you know? They don't have a freezer. So yeah, and they were dealing with 40-degree-Celsius heat. And like, it was only yesterday that it rained after like 2 months literally of like no rain. So yeah, I'm kind of concerned about how they're living. But I have no say because I don't live there anymore. And I'm glad for that. But like, yeah, it does, you know, it concerns me, like, especially hearing about all this stuff about the fires. I'm really scared that they're going to be burned alive in their apartment. Like, that's going to happen, and I'm going to be, like, parentless, an orphan. And then I have to deal with all of this financial stuff and dealing with their apartment after they died. Yeah, sorry for going that deep about something that is totally irrelevant to everything else. Okay, so the water is cooking. Can we like put some of this in there? Okay, oh, we needed to have salt in the water. Wait. Salt in the water, salt in the water. Okay, now let's put all this stuff in there. And then we'll add more potatoes. Oops, why did I do that? That was so stupid. Okay. No, not the potato. Okay. I need to have my hands closer to it, but I don't want to get... Oh my God. Okay, wait. This is why they do it like this in the shows. They put it, they make it like this. Okay, so my hands are furthest away from the burning liquid as possible. Okay. Good. Now we just have half of the potatoes left or more. Okay, wait, what's going on with the chat? I'm reading you guys upside down. Wait. It was nice, liked plus plumeau. Wait. Ingrid, all things, you're doing just fine. Oh, thank you. Hello, Van Lykke. Hope you like Saint-Gatien, Tour Charlemagne. Oh, yeah. Wait, we have French people in the comments. Your knife doesn't knife well. Yes. Yes, I have heard that before. My knife doesn't knife well. Well, it's because like I keep not taking care of my knives, and so my knives are like really blunt, and it's dangerous, and I know, but I cannot really do anything about it because otherwise I would have to buy a new knife every few months, literally, you know, and like I don't feel like doing that. So you just have to deal with me not knowing how to deal with things, and also burning myself every time I'm throwing stuff into that pan. You know, actually, I met French people at the grocery store today. That was quite funny. They were like a group of people, and like all these men, like really strong guys, and they had like the Swedish flag on one of their arms and the French flag on the other, and they were being really loud and obnoxious, like the way that French people are. And yeah, I was half of my mind was like, oh well, maybe I should like ask them if they need help or something. But my other half was like, I don't want to deal with French men at the moment, so that's that was that. So I didn't ask them if they needed help. It seemed like they were part of like some kind of team or something, and they were buying like tons of Coca-Cola. I don't know what they were trying to do, but you know, I think that they probably all live together, this team. They had like fish on the back. I don't know if they're like a fishing team, or if there's some kind of like other kind of team. But it was quite funny to see them around at my grocery store in my little town. It's not really usual that we meet French people. But yeah, I didn't feel like talking to them, so I didn't do anything. But yeah, it's fun to meet the French people. Anyway, okay, we're just doing a little bit at a time because I cannot deal with the splash of this. Okay, there. Yes, I should have another life, but I don't know what's going on. Okay, so we're just keep going. Oh my god. Okay. I hate potatoes. Well, I like the taste of potatoes. So I'm lying. I am. Okay. We just keep going, keep going, keep going. This is really boring for you guys. I'm very sorry. Why did I choose this recipe? I keep choosing the recipes that have potatoes in it. That takes ages to deal with potatoes. At least when it's the the oven ones, then like nothing much is happening until it's put into the oven. But okay, whatever. I'm going to cut these. Cutting these. And we're cutting these. And we're cutting them and cutting them and cutting them. Yeah, I don't know that part of France that you have been visiting sick, so I will leave you guys to your discussions. Yeah. France is a beautiful country. There are lots of things to visit everywhere, it feels like. I mean, every country you could say that. It's just that, yeah, Sweden has less towns to visit. I am going to be going to a town that's kind of close, I guess, in October for a conference. And yeah, we'll see. Yeah, an update. My ESFP colleague is not doing well at all because it's quite ironic, but she's at the ears, nose, throat clinic at the moment as her placement, and she got sudden deafness syndrome, which is like, yeah, most people regain their, it's like you suddenly become deaf, and in 1 year, and she just suddenly became deaf in an ear, and so she's been given tons of cortisone, and cortisone, you just don't feel great from cortisone. Cortisone makes you feel like you're on edge all the time, and that's not great. So she was at work. I think that she should have taken the day off work really, but she really needs the money, so she can't really do that. Okay, it feels like I have too much in my pot, but I still have 2 potatoes to put in. How am I going to do this? Okay, let's just... Oh no. Conference, nice. I'm here. He wants to be alive. They're planning a revolution. How many languages do you speak, Ingrid? I speak 3 languages. Yeah, so I speak English, French, and Swedish. And then I learned Spanish in school, but I forgot all about that, so it doesn't count really. But yeah, I'm fluent in those 3. Because, yeah, for those of you who don't know, the story is that I grew up in France. My dad is Swedish, my mom is American. I moved to Sweden when I was 18 for medical school. And I'm still there. So I've been in Sweden maybe like, what, 12 years? Something like that. And yeah, I don't regret it, but sometimes I miss France, but sometimes I just don't. And so yeah, I went to visit sick in France this holiday. And it was good, but I felt really tired after the trip, because I just feel tired after any trip. So, yeah. Okay, I don't know why there's such a gross bubbly thing up here. I feel like I want to skim it off. Also, there's too much water. I think it's going to boil over. I hope not. I hope not. I don't want it to boil over. Okay, we're going to skim this, because that is It just feels gross. I just do not like it. It probably is just normal, but I feel no, I don't like it. Okay. So basically it says 10 to 13 minutes like this, and then like cutting it with a knife. Well, we cut it with a knife later, I guess. It does say that I should have a thingy to squish vegetables with, but I don't have a squisher, so we'll have to deal with what we have. Anyway, now we're dealing with the chicken, and this is where my fingers are going to get really awful. Starch. Excess potato salt. Laszlo's here. Hello. Hey, how well did you know Swedish before moving? It's normal to have bubbly with potatoes. Okay, yes. So cool to be fluent in 3 languages. Thank you. It was lovely to see you when you came. Thank you, Sick. Yay. Okay. How much Swedish do I know? Well, like, my grandparents spoke Swedish. My dad spoke Swedish, but like, my dad, since he's so good at languages, it's kind of like, I don't really, yeah. It wasn't like he had to speak to me in Swedish, because also my mom is American, so she will talk a lot, but my dad is Swedish and does not talk a lot. So I got more English, way more English than I got Swedish. I also learned Swedish at like this, we have this little like school, a kind of school for learning Swedish, with several, we had an association with several families put together. Oof, my fingers smell like basilica. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, we're going to be moving, you guys. There. Okay, that's better. So we're dealing with the chicken, and let me just see what's going on. Why starch? There is no starch. Why are we planning the revolution? I am very confused. So yeah, the answer is that, yeah, but it was my worst of my 3 languages, so I did not know. But I did need to take a test of language in order to get into Swedish medical school. So I managed that, but I didn't manage the first time. I had to redo it. Yes, I live in Sweden. Tool last week. Oh, you were talking about Tool. Ingrid, you live in the UK? No, I don't live in the UK. Dana lives in the UK, if you know who that is. The 1940s American forced reality sounds like terrifying nightmare. Yeah, it is. Sorry, I'm going backwards. INFP. Yes, of course, it's a concentration of INFPs. Where does the INFPs here? I mean, if Schumann ends up coming up, he's INTP, but I don't think that he is, so that's where we are. Let's see. Okay, I think that I'm caught up. Maybe I've missed some of the live. I don't know exactly. Hello, bonjour. Okay, yes. Okay, now let's go back to where we were. Mediators are a knack for speaking similar languages. Well, what can suffice but potato talk? I like potato. Yeah, I like potato, but I just am tired of potato. Okay, now the chicken. We're doing this now. So, oh, well, it says, wait, no. Put salt on the chicken, then put olive oil in the pan. But I don't have olive oil. Why did I do this? Okay. But then putting this into the pan with olive oil. So I'm going to be taking out the pan. And my pan, I've scratched my pan. That has Teflon, and I'm going to have microplastics in me, but I don't care. And at this point, I've given up. So I I also need a new pan. I need new knives and a new pan. It's not good, but we're going to clean this up a little bit. Put this here, there, and we're adding some of this mix of butter and rapeseed oil, or canola oil if you want to be politically correct on YouTube. Anyway. Here, good. We're going to lower the heat now because it gets quickly overheated on that setting. Oh my god, I have too many things in my kitchen. Okay. Okay, that was that. Now, the chicken. I have to be really careful with bacteria. Oh, also guys, I've started at pediatrics, so I am probably going to get sick at some point, because that's what usually happens. And also kids have just started school here, so they're going to be getting all of the sicknesses, and I am not protected. Also, there's been a big scandal here in Sweden about a measles outbreak, because there was this big festival. There was a big festival with, yeah, it was literally people just got a measles outbreak because so many people at that festival were not vaccinated against measles because they were anti-vaxxers, a lot of them. So, yeah, they basically, I think that last I looked, there were like 21 cases of measles in Sweden, and they all had come from that festival on the north of Sweden, and 2 of them were at my hospital where I am currently, and yeah, it's great. I'm vaccinated against measles, but I think that like the older population might not be always vaccinated. Okay, I'm washing my hands and I'm also throwing this out completely into the trash. Oh god, I hate touching chicken. I hate the feel of it. Ugh. Like when I say that I don't like it, I don't like the raw materials. And I know that it's stupid because I eat meat. But raw meat is just not possible. That's why we invented fire as a species, so that we wouldn't have to deal with this. Ugh, okay. Okay, so that is bubbling. We're just letting that do its work. We are, oh yeah, salt. We forgot the salt. Okay, salt. Salt. Okay, good. I haven't done the salt on both sides, but whatever. 2-3 minutes per side, or until they are brown. And then, okay, so this is kind of in mid-heat, right? We are mid-heat right now. But then we're going to put it at lower heat after that. And then we're going to add the honey, the cream. Oh, I know that the French guys at the grocery store, they were like, oh, is this crème fraîche? And then they were like, oh, it says crème fraîche. Yeah, it was crème fraîche because in Swedish doesn't have a word for it. So that's what was happening. Alexander Washman, hello. Wait, what was your username? Wasn't it like a Lightbringer guy? No, I forget. No, I've seen you before, but it was maybe like 6 months ago or something. forget if this was your username. Like I know your profile picture, and I know that you were going to go to Japan in January. I don't know what happened about that. Never fry in olive oil, that's cancerogenous. Well, what are you supposed to fry in then? An entire accomplishment graduating from medical school in the language you didn't know very well. Oh, thank you. Yeah, well, my first semester was quite a pain, let's just say. Yeah, you did go to Japan. Oh, yay. That's like the last time I heard from you. I feel like maybe you've been on my channel as well, but like that was the last I discussed anything with you. Yeah, so great. I want to go to Japan, but I feel like I'm so bad at organizing things that okay, so at the moment I'm just taking off the stems of the basilica, because I'm just waiting for the chicken too. I have a lot of holidays that I need to use up, and I do want to go to Japan, but I feel like I am not ready. And of course I'll never be ready, but I mean, I do want to like plan this in the right way. Because my trip to France, like the reason that it worked was because I know the language and I know the place, even if I don't know Paris really. Like I know that I will get to my parents' house and I will know what is awaiting me. But it's not the case for Japan, you know? So I'm thinking, you know, should I like decide to do something a little bit less ambitious? Like maybe going to Italy or something like that. I had the idea of going to Rome. That's an idea that I had at one point. But is it that much less challenging than going to Japan? Like, yeah, I can read signs in Italian, kind of, compared to Japanese, I can't. So that's the difference here. Okay, I'm just moving these to the other side, and then we're adding more salt on this side. And then I will be adding the honey and the stuff. Okay, good. I wonder what's going on with the stuff in here. With the potato thingy. Okay. I mean, look, we've almost already done an hour, and I'm still like only halfway through the recipe. Japanese are really friendly and helpful. Don't worry if you don't have to be fluent. Won't worry too much. Yeah. We're in Japan. Like traveling. It's New Zealand. Oh. I don't know, I keep seeing like content creators from like Australia. Wait, who was it from who's from New Zealand? There's that, is Elena Carroll from Australia or New Zealand? She's an autistic content creator. And then we've got, wait, what's her name? There's the girl with the rainbow thingy, Kiwi something. Of course, Kiwi is New Zealand, so. I don't know. Everybody who's been to New Zealand thinks that it's like the best place that they've ever gone to visit. There's also like the filming places of Lord of the Rings. Oh, you know, due to the Strait of Hormuz, we had a nursing assistant at my workplace who actually got stuck, and because there were no flights that were going to Dubai, so she was stuck in New Zealand for a week more than what she was planning, which wasn't a bad thing, but was kind of like they hadn't planned that, so it's kind of, so she got to see a lot of like Hakka and stuff like that. Okay, now while this is going on, they say to turn down the heat and then add this and that. and add salt and pepper, but I have no pepper. I have no pepper. Well, I have like, no, I have no pepper. Okay, well, that's sad. Well, it's still pink in the middle, so should I really add the honey and the cream? I don't know. So the cream, I don't know, it's gonna be weird. It's going to be weird. And then we also have to do like a thingy with, like a salad with the apple and the zucchini and stuff. Okay. I do think though that we have to lower the heat, so I guess I'm going to add the stuff. Ay, 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 ay. Compared to the start of the live, you sound like magnesium pills have kicked in. See, Butter, that's why I don't understand you. What are you talking about? I have no magnesium pills. I'm autistic. Speak to me literally. I don't know what you're talking about. No, I have no magnesium pills. And I don't think that I lack magnesium either. I think I'm just tired. I do wish that, like, I've been waiting for a doctor to, like, actually... I've been waiting to actually meet a doctor, but they want me to... They took the... Basically, I had to do a chat rather than a phone call, and the chat was basically like, oh, so you have you're going to be called by your psychologist. Well, we'll wait till your psychologist has decided what to do with you. It's like, well, I'm calling now to get help. You know? Like, help me rather than just, you know? I'm adding the cream now, and there's a lot of it. Oh god, this is kind of problematic because now I'm not going to be able to see if the chicken is pink inside or not. Okay, well, I'm just going to add all this in there. Yeah, but so anyway, they said, oh, well, wait until your psychologist decides if you get to see the doctor or not. Even though I'd written, like, I'm not just interested in, treating depression. I'm talking about, like, I want to see if something is wrong with me. I want to know if I have, if I can get help from the physical therapist for hypermobility or something like that. I want to know, like, if I need to be taking iron pills or something. I need to know. There are things I need to know. I'm not getting any help. So I'm just eating the honey straight from the tube because I can't deal. But yeah, so I have literally, like, only a few days ago gotten the visits for all the stuff that I needed to do. I still haven't gotten a doctor's visit. Because yeah, I when I was depressed, I could have been. I didn't write that I was thinking about life and death, but I could have been not in a good place. And also, I wasn't, like, entirely truthful about how severe the stuff was, because I don't want to be sent to the psych ward. But yeah, I didn't feel good. And they, they were like, oh, well, you're not going to see a doctor. So, okay. You guys think that it's just going to be solved by speaking to the psychologist one time? I don't think so. But okay, here we are. We're on the outside of the worst part of it. So, okay, so now that this is going on, it says to do this for, wait, oh, the soy sauce needs to also go in there. So, okay, wait, we're just, okay. Okay, now I understand why the cream they have in the picture is brown, because we needed to add the soy sauce. Of course, it was not going to be white. Wow, okay. That wasn't enough soy sauce. I don't know how they thought about this. Okay, so we're going to squish this around, Well, now it's brown. Okay, good. It says to do this for 8 to 10 minutes. So, it says on low heat, but I need to mix the ingredients around a little bit because the honey is not mixing with the soy sauce, which is not mixing with the cream, so, okay. We're letting that happen. I'm just going to show you guys where we are. So at the moment, I think that these are doing well, and then we've got the chicken, which looks like this. And then we're 1 hour in. We're finally getting to halfway through this recipe. And this recipe that was supposed to be 40 minutes long. Never been to Japan. It's interesting. It went both through the actual capital and the historical capital. Hi, Stefan. Hello. How are you? I'm better. I'm in no way doing well, but much better. Wondering if there's more autistic-friendly Sweden or France in your experience. Oh, Sweden. I don't think that there's a competition at all. I think it's definitely Sweden. I know of a lot of parents of autistic kids who have moved to Sweden, specifically for their autistic kid. I've been to Tokyo and Kyoto. Yeah, exactly. I want to go to those two as well. I do want to go to Nara and see the, what are they called? The deer. And then Osaka. But it's like the, you know, the most common places to go to. If you can go to Hiroshima as well, would be interesting. The language barrier. People are friendly, want to help. Yeah, the thing is about my idea of going to Italy is that, yes, men, older men want to help me all the time, and I don't feel very safe with certain Italian men. Yeah, that's the reality of the situation. I don't know, for some reason it's literally just Italian men. Spanish men aren't like that. I don't know why. They haven't learned anything, I guess. Okay, wait. Okay, 67%. Okay, so as this is going on, we're going to have to use a fork and see a little bit what is going on here. Oh, yeah, it feels like kind of soft. I don't know how soft it should be, but they do say that we need to like make sure that they are able to be squished. And some of it is squishable, but some of it is not. I don't know, I'd rather have it more soft than it needs to be, because I don't have a musher, you know? So we're going to just leave it like this. Let this go. And during the time, we are going to be making the salad that goes with it. So it says to make it into small slices and press out as much water as possible from this. I don't know what they're talking about. Then it says, cut this in half, take off the seeds and cut the apples into thin slices. Then we're going to put this with the zucchini with the salt and pepper in a big, well, I forgot to put salt again into this. I keep forgetting, but I think that there's some soy sauce is good enough with salt. Okay, so now, I don't know what you guys can see, nothing, literally, like nothing. You guys are getting dangerously close to my sink. Okay. Okay. So we're cutting this apple. Yeah, okay, I should have washed the knife. But I didn't do anything with the chicken. Okay, whatever. Okay. I mean, better have you... I don't know why you're talking about magnesium. I think that's actually, I really like dark chocolate, so I don't think that magnesium is the vitamin that I would be missing out on. To be honest, I eat like chocolate every day. Maybe I don't always eat the dark chocolate, but I do eat chocolate a lot. Okay, slice into thin pieces. Okay. I mean, I want the slices to be really thin. Okay, this knife is knifing, as we have said before. So we just cut this one. Okay, that was the apple. Okay, well, we couldn't make that one thinner, so that's it. I don't know, my supervisor was trying to like kind of force me to go to Japan because he went there and he was like, my supervisor is autistic as well, so he was like, it's like the perfect place for somebody who likes order and things not being chaotic. So it's literally like the opposite of going to Italy in terms of like amount of chaos. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to live in a country in the south. And it's just because like I can't deal with. I mean, going to France is already too much for me. I'm like, what is going on? Like at all times, I don't know what's going on. I just filmed a video that's probably coming out in a month, which is about how I wish that there was a guide to living life as an autistic person. But there is none, so that's it. That was the video. Well, the video was also complaining about the discussion I had with my mom. But we'll leave that for later. Okay, now we're doing the zucchini, which I don't know how to do this. Okay, so they want us to make it into slices. How does that even work? Okay, shredding it. How do you even do that? I don't have a shredder. Oh, but I do have a slicer. Wait. It's been 10,000 years since I've done this. But I did buy a gimmicky thingy from like Temu or something 10,000 years ago. Let me see if it's worth it. That's not worth it, is it? No. Okay. I don't know if it's worth it actually. How would you even do this? How would I even do this? Okay, I don't know. No. Sorry, guys. I came back. My phone's been having problems on several levels. I'm back. But one of it is that I am completely against updating my phone. I do not want to update my phone. I don't want more AI. I hate AI. Fuck AI. So yeah, my phone periodically does this. So I've had to record like half-hour long videos, and then like my phone does that, and then I can't I have to replay it. But yeah, I cannot deal with more. So that's where we're at. So if anybody's still here, I'm glad that you are. I don't really care at this point. I think that I've tried so hard at this point, I can't deal with more. Okay, we're going to add salt to the potatoes and to the carrots. And then we're going to mash them up together with milk. And then it says how much milk I need. I need 3 spoons. Where are the spoons? Oh my god, where's the spoons? You know, like, my executive function is pretty shit. So it's like, I forget where I even have my spoons, but okay. Now, we've got milk. So 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, good. That was that. Oh, sorry. I needed to drink some milk from the package. Okay. So, it does say to put pepper in it. I have no pepper. So, what we're going to do is that we're going to squish this all somehow. And I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can do it. I don't think we can do it. Because we have nothing to mash it with. So we're going to just like cut it up, cut it up, cut it up. I mean, literally so much potatoes for like so little carrot. But isn't there any butter in this? Aren't you supposed to add butter? I feel like I missed something. Okay, sorry guys. I thought that this might happen, but I am feeling a little bit woozy and that I need to sit down. So we're going to move ourselves to the other place here. Okay, wait. This is a bunch of chaos. Okay, here we are. I'm going to take it just a thingy. I feel not good. I don't feel good. Okay. Yeah. So I'll get back to you guys. I'm just doing this rhythmically a little bit without. I think I need, I mean, we're almost done. It's just I need to eat something, I think. I did eat right before, like, to a certain degree. I don't know. Okay. Okay, now I'll check what's going on here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, hi. Yeah, sorry about the stream. Very organized in Japan. Yeah, well, France is more extroverted, I guess. Just, yeah, I felt kind of it's much easier to exist as an autistic person in Sweden, where everybody is pretty much an introvert. Also, there are so much more understanding in terms of like disability concepts. Like, I don't know how to explain it. France is still like very much behind on many things. The attitudes have not changed that much. And I know I made that whole video about like the positives of France, and things have changed. And yes, things have changed. But it is still not as progressed in terms of certain aspects compared to Sweden. And I'm not saying that Sweden is perfect either, but I'm just saying that in terms of specifically autism accommodations and culture that is accepting of people who are autistic with low support needs in the world, I think that Sweden is way like in front of France. I wouldn't have been diagnosed with autism had I been in France. I don't think that would have happened had I stayed there. I mean, I don't know what would have happened if I had stayed there, but I don't think it would have been like as easy. I'm not saying that it was easy, but easier. So yeah. Oh my god. Enjoy. Yeah, we're not done yet, but we're almost done. I just need to add all of the things together. And this mousse is not really a mousse, but we're going to puree. Sorry, my neighbor is making a lot of noise. France is way too neurotypical, you mean? I mean, every place is neurotypical. But I think that France is more demanding that you are social. And they are also more critical if you... I mean, in Sweden, it's more like, okay, you need to fit into their culture. And so you need to not stand out, right? But it seems like in France, there's a lot more... I think that there are more conventional things. A conventional way of being. So it's, you know, it's more okay for people to stand out, but it's also more geared towards, you know, like everybody is fighting a little bit for their lives in France, it feels like. And so, you know, you're not special. Well, in Sweden, it's a little bit more like, okay, you're all. It's an interesting thing because it's like, you know, political scientists are trying to figure it out because we're having our election soon and it is freaking me out. Okay. I'll just show you guys the 3 things and then we're going to put them together so that I can eat something. So here, this is the chicken, this is the puree, and this is the salad. So I'm going to turn off the heat here and then we're going to pile this into a plate so that it looks sort of like this, except that it doesn't look like at all like that. The colors are all wrong. Yeah, they're critical. Yeah, and I mean, I've gotten a little bit of that in myself, like that I am critical of things, and that does not really float well for like Swedish people. They're like, why are you always complaining? It's like, yeah, that's what French people do. They complain. I complain about, like, I also, you know, I'm not about to like shout at people for just like not being able to be doing things in the correct way. Also, French administration obviously is a terrible drain. So I do not like it. Okay. Like literally the colors are all wrong in this, but we're going to do our best. Because the apple is more yellow than was thought. The zucchini is more yellow than was thought. The puree was more yellow than I was thought. And also the chicken is more yellow than we had thought. So everything is just a bunch of yellow stuff put together. Which, I mean, I like yellow. Yellow is my favorite color. But like, it doesn't provide the contrast of that. So we'll see. Okay. Here. Everyone hated French. Yeah, well, my mom didn't know that she was going to move to France later on in her life, so she took the minimum amount of French that you could take in high school. I mean, when you've grown up with it, it's kind of normal. It's only when you've left the place and then you come back and then you're like, wait, what happened? You're like, wait, people have always been this rude in France? And then it's like, wait, people didn't need to act this way, and they do act that way. Okay, so there is our first. So okay, wait. So we've got this. I don't think that we can actually take a picture of this, so that was that. Anyway, I'm going to go back to myself and we're going to eat this. I think that Swedes, people think that Swedes are like Germans in terms of being blunt, but actually French people are more blunt than Swedish people. And I don't, even if I'm autistic, I don't like bluntness. I like people who are honest, and I like genuine things, and I like people who are clear. So that's good about the bluntness. But sometimes it's like, okay, can't you just shut your mouth, you know? Second degré. Yeah, but the concept of second degré is a very French thing. When actually, like, second degré means irony. But you know, irony is a thing that autistic people sometimes have a hard time with. We can be good at it. We might use a lot of irony ourselves, you know. But that doesn't mean that we like are always understanding of what's going on. I don't know. It's hard to describe cultures in general. Texture game, 10 out of 10. They're quite elitist. Yeah, they are. I mean, they are elitist in a lot of things, which goes against like the Swedish way of doing things, which is not sticking out, so not being elitist, right? And a lot of this is about, like, in France, it's the elitism leads to competition. In Sweden, it's more about cooperation, which I like. Are we back to the MBTI question? I thought that we've already talked about it. But maybe you came later, Alexander. Basically, everybody here is an INFP. Away from the norms is not so welcome. Well, right now, Sweden is very divided in terms of politics. We will be having our elections in 2-3 weeks. And yeah, I'm just saying I am a leftist. Now, there are several parties on the left, so I'm still trying to decide between those. But it's concerning. I think that there are a lot of people who are really in a MAGA mindset of like make Sweden Sweden again or something like that. And I'm having patients who are being deported, and I'm having my family members are having a hard time renewing their Swedish passports because they live outside of Sweden. I might be in danger of something because I have 2 nationalities, one of which is Swedish, but they're just making it harder and harder for people to live. Sorry, there was a hair. Oops. It's my own hair, so it's fine. But, okay. Sorry, I really needed food. Like, I don't know, my brain is... I suddenly felt woozy, like I was going to, like, fall down. Thank you for making it... So it's okay. When we complain, we don't go around the pot. Well, going around the pot is a French expression, which isn't very... beat around the bush would be the English expression. I don't know. I've been feeling very strange about like, what am I, who am I, what is going on? And so this discussion about like where I come from is another thing that kind of makes me feel a little bit like dysphoric or whatever, because I don't know where I'm from and where do I belong and all that. So I'm not going to really be answering too much more questions like that, at least not today. If you had such questions in the first place. It was good. It was good. I don't really understand how zucchini can be good. I didn't know that you could eat it raw. So that was news to me. The puree is kind of not really mushy, but it's okay. Yeah, it's a bit mushy. Bon appétit. 2027 elections in France are not looking good. Yeah, I mean, I think that most countries around the world is not looking good. But the thing is, the right-wing parties are not doing too good right now, because they've been really cracking down, because I think that they feel like they're in danger. So the last few months, they've been doing all sorts of crazy stuff, which is like, wow, they didn't feel any sense of urgency beforehand, so they didn't do anything. And then suddenly they decided, oh, now we need to do something. The worst is that I know somebody who is a representative in the Christ Democrats, which is like almost extreme right. Yeah, and it's like, okay, I'm working with this guy, and here, you know, I saw a pancarte, what's it called? A poster on the road that said, "Good Swedish food in our old age homes." And it's like, okay, you could have chosen anything else. Is that what you think is the most important, to have Swedish food at old age homes? I mean, I know that people in the old age homes, they don't get to choose the menu, and they feel powerless due to that and stuff like that. But like, you only have like 2 posters that you can put up on that road, because everybody only had 2 posters, and that was one of the posters that you felt was like super important to say. Which was like, okay, I guess. But what's so wrong about having food that's not Swedish? Most food that you're eating is not Swedish. Like, I mean, pizza is not Swedish. Like, I'm not saying that old age people need to eat sushi, or that they need to eat some obscure dish from some country that they've never eaten that kind of dish before. But I think that in general, most, like, they always have an option of eating something more bland. You know? I didn't understand that. You're having puree too? Well, I'm here. I'm here having puree. But like, yeah, I was kind of. And then there's also this whole discussion about, like, there was this. Yeah, it's almost awful to say, but like, there were these buses in like the Gothenburg area, where it said, like, in big letters on their buses, like, do you miss Mogadishu? We can give you money so that you go back. We can pay for your trip back. And like, a lot of these bus drivers are Somali people who have lived in France, in Sweden, and integrated into Sweden, and don't want to go back, you know? And yes, I know that a lot of people are like, oh, but they're not respecting the rules, they're not, but like, they're literally impossible for them to follow the rules, because they're not being granted, you know, like, first they have to be granted a visa, which is really difficult for them. And it's like, wow, Swedish people are so privileged, like, they can just go anywhere and they don't need a visa. And they're like, well, all these people need to have, you know, they're not following our rules, so they shouldn't be able to stay here. It's like, yeah, I understand, but why did you make those rules in the first place? So yeah, I'm very much a leftist, and I know that a lot of people are kind of against that. Anyway, you know, it feels more personal, because I have met people who have been in this situation. And yeah, My dad was questioned for 45 minutes when he was going to just renew his passport, which he's, by the way, had his entire life. Because he's lived in France and because he's lived in Spain and he's lived in the US. But you know, like he was always a Swedish citizen and that's his only citizenship. You know, my dad has Swedish citizenship and that's it. So if he can't renew his passport, then he doesn't have any papers. He doesn't have an ID, you know? So that was stressful for him. And yeah, my brother also had a big problem with his renewal of his passport because, well, he was going to become a citizen by birth, I guess. Make Berlin great again is what, yeah, exactly. Réaliser gute film. The way that we define and envision the leftist, something that should be revisited constantly. Well, I don't know. Thing is, like, I think that I might be voting on 3 different parties. I might be voting for like one party for the communal, one party for the regional, and one party for the national. So I'm just trying to figure out like which party I want for which thing. Oh, it's interesting that there are German people on the chat. Okay, I'm going to try to eat some more because I'm feeling very strange. Yeah, at the moment, what I'm reading is The Culting of America by the I forgot what her name is, Natalie Masniak or something. She is the knitting cult lady on YouTube. So if you are into learning about cults, which is kind of my special interest, then I highly recommend her videos. And yeah, her book as well. Half French, half Germany. Oh, okay. So we got a lot of French people on the chat and German people. Watching and commenting on another video when... Oh, hello! Hey. Hello. Yes, I'm posting way too much. I can't seem to find a balance. Either I post like every 2 days or I don't post at all for 2 weeks. I can't do between. Oh, Berlin. People are in Berlin. Okay. Yeah, no, sorry for talking about Swedish politics. I feel it's weighing on me because like the elections are very soon and I only hope for the best because I don't want to live in a fascist regime. So that's what's going on. I'm going to eat some more of this because I felt like I was going to pass out. Like, I don't know what happened. Like my phone decided to like kick it at the same time as I was falling to pieces. So we're going to just eat some of the zucchini salad with apples. And okay, we don't need more of the chicken. I'm just going to add some salt to this. I'm pretty happy with this meal, even though it was like way too long dealing with the vegetables. Okay. Let's see what's going on. Okay. What? Whoops. Ja, blommorna på bordet has... You don't need to reply to whatever I'm doing. Like, I always welcome comments. I'm really happy for comments, but don't ever feel an obligation, you know? And even if I comment on other people's videos, they're not obliged to comment on mine. I just comment when I feel like commenting. And it takes a large amount of time. But I don't expect anybody to reply. Oof. Yeah, and as I was saying, my videos that are being posted now, the ones that say hiatus at the beginning or of the title, they're the ones who have been filmed like 3 weeks ago, like beginning of August. And yes, Sick, you always comment on videos, but I know that a lot of us are at least are going through like depressive episodes and problems, so I don't fault anybody for not commenting. I also know that there are people like lurking around. Like I know that D from all the INFP Insights watches these cooking, the cooking show she calls it, even though she is never in the chat really. And I know that Bufo sometimes watches these, even though, yeah, I've been watching a lot of her videos, and yeah, she is struggling, but she's making it. But I still worry for her, because it's difficult being unemployed in this world, and especially in the US. I mean, here I am complaining about my life in Sweden and about life in France. Not the same. Yeah, we'll see if Funnel Pete arrives. I think that he probably arrives like 3 hours into a live, which is at about the time when I leave. I don't want this live to be an hour more though. I think that we're going to try to end this a little bit after 2 hours. Because a 3-hour live is just too much. I wish that we'd met up when Vontel Beat went around in Eastern Europe, but yeah. He didn't tell me when he was in Poland. Well, he said that it would be sometime in June. I can very easily go to Poland. It's a very quick plane visit. I've never been to Poland. It would have been fun to visit with him, but I think that he's a bit too much of a chaotic. I need things planned, and I can't deal. I can't deal with things being unplanned. I don't know. Like I could manage, but it would be very stressful, and I can't deal with anything. What was it about you and Pete joining a cult in Japan? Well, I'm guessing that Von Pete has used up all of his money on going to Eastern Europe, and so that he's not going to be going to Japan anytime soon. But I haven't asked him. So, yeah, I did have that dream, but it didn't really materialize. Okay, have a good night. Okay, bye, Julien Chevalier. Yeah. Oof, I feel like I need to calm down a little bit from all this exertion. I feel like I'm like one of those like 19th century ladies. If I don't have any space in my fridge. Okay, where do we store all of this? I'm just like transferring stuff into pots. I don't know, another reason why I need to go to the doctor is because I wonder, like, do I have pots or something? Do I have all the things that autistic people have? Or is it just me inventing stuff for myself in my head? I do have a low blood pressure, so. There was the. Okay, I put the puree into the fridge. Now I need to put in place a thing for chicken. And that's what we're going to do on the plate, I guess. Because that doesn't need to be in the bowl. So, okay, that's the chicken. Here's the chicken. And more chicken. And the sauce. And more sauce. I do have a window open, and I'm sure that my neighbor can hear everything that's going on. He's like, what the fuck are you doing? And it's like, well, this is the way that I socialize. And that is the way that I do things. No, I mean, I am in a better mood than I used to be. That's I did fall down a rabbit hole where I was like, what the fuck am I even doing here on this planet? So, now, here we are. Okay. I shouldn't swear on these because that means that people will just leave. But I have no choice. Okay. Okay, now we're going to just scoop some of that stuff. This stuff. Okay. Good. Okay, here I am, back. Good night. Oh wait. Uncharted Francis Drake. I like when people are in the chat and that they recognize each other and they say hello. That is quite fun. I sometimes go on creative autistics lives, but I think that they're geared towards a little bit like an older population than me. I feel kind of silly being there because like she talks about like perimenopause and stuff like that, and I'm not there, you know. And she's like married and has a lot of other chronic illnesses, and I feel a little bit like an imposter because I'm just imagining, I feel like I'm just imagining that I'm having these chronic illnesses. But something is going on. I don't think it's just autism, or in that case, autism is literally in the body somehow. I thought, well, maybe I'm just depressed. Maybe the depression is what's making me so lethargic. It's like, in that case, I've been depressed since I was 15 years old with no pause ever. Like I've always been like this. It's just getting worse, but you know. Okay, this was very good. I just feel like I need to drink some water. We need a glass of water or something. I'm not. Okay, so now I've got my sugar, I've got my salt, I've got my fats, and now I've got the water. Finally. It was silly that I didn't drink any water beforehand. Okay, and Van is also going. Oh, okay. Auf Wiedersehen. I wonder who is it who is talking to each other? Who sees each other tomorrow? It's interesting that people know each other, because you're not going to be seeing me tomorrow. I think that my next video is planned for in a few days. Like, yeah, I have like 8 videos planned, or like in the queue. And so it's going to take a while before we get to like my here and now. I think that, so it's kind of like we're going to be going back into time. So I'm guessing that we're going to be getting to the videos that are now, maybe at the end of September at this point. With like 2-3 days between each video. Yeah. So yeah, and I am very sorry for the for a sick and Schumann who I don't know, like I tell them things and then it's like I say like, oh well, you'll find out in the video. And I feel silly for doing that, but like sometimes I can only express myself in a video because I feel like it's more controlled. And I just, yeah, the series coming up. Yeah, no, but I just mean that like I will be talking about a pretty sensitive subject if you've seen my yesterday's video. And I couldn't really talk about it in like in text form with anybody really. I did talk on the phone with my ISFJ friend, and like I felt like I was just crying the entire time I was telling him about it. So, you know, and now my ISFJ friend is in Italy, so I'm not talking to him, or like I'm writing sometimes, but I can't really like go through my problems with. I feel like I need to give it some time and process a little bit what's going to happen. But this is something that I have procrastinated and not done for literally like half my life since I was 15. So I think that it's okay for me to take my time with like discussing it. But I will be going a little bit graphically in the video that I have already filmed and that is in the queue. It's believe it or not, that video is still very much censored. Like it is very much like I haven't gone into all of the details of what happens during that patient visit. But I do go a little bit into like what actually happened. And I can't do it on the fly, and I can't do it when I'm just like, I could only do it once, literally, you know? Like, it's like a stand-up comedy. You can only do it once. It will never be the same next time, you know? Yeah, but like sick, I'm sorry, I can't do phone calls either. I literally, like, I was at the end of my rope when I did a phone call with my ISFJ friend. Like, I was like, I can't write in text, but I need to talk to somebody because otherwise I'll chicken out from going to the visit. And I still was stressed out about having to do a phone call. And yeah, I don't really like phone calls. Yeah, it's an option. Yeah, it's an option. I don't think that I'll do it, like, ever. Like, it took me an hour to, like, describe what the situation was and, like, get to some kind of resolution. So I don't think that's it's something that we can really do in a text format. I don't think I can do it in like a regular video either. I need to do a lot of journaling on my own and all that stuff. You're at my mom's, just went to check in on her. I'll be back in a moment. Oh, okay. How are you? Hi again, Stefan. You like reading history? No, I don't. Or I don't know what you're talking about. So are you talking about history books, memoirs? I don't really read a lot of history. Like I can read like a fact here and there, but I don't really read like a book about history. My dad and my brother really like history, so they'll tell me there's some facts here or there, and I'll be like, oh. I like, when I like going to museums and learning about history from that. But that's usually when I'm on a trip or something. I rarely go to museums in my day-to-day life. I do go sometimes in Stockholm. Keep the suspense. You're all talking to Julien? Alexander is talking to Julien? And Van Dyke is talking to Julien? Who is this Julien that everybody knows that I don't know? Yeah, the Carnavalet Museum. Oh, God. Me and Sick, we went to the Carnavalet Museum in Paris, and it was like... it was so... My favorite part of history is the 19th century. And like, unfortunately, by the time we got to the 19th century, it was, or like the early 20th century, like with the Art Nouveau stuff. So late 19th, early 20th. And yeah, so we were getting so tired by the end of the 18th century. And then it just kept being more and more rooms, and it was like, whoa. Yeah, so I really like the La Belle Époque, stuff like that. History is kind of depressing sometimes. Well, there is some kind of charm in that, like, you feel closer to the time period, so you feel closer to the people there. I know that there's the World Wars, and then there's the Cold War, and then there's the Vietnam War, and there's the Gulf Wars, and there are many wars. But there were many wars in the Middle Ages as well. It's just that they were fought with like swords and not with bombs and stuff like that. So history has always been violent. I just it feels closer in time. And we do it a little bit more detailed when it comes to that, because we have so much information about what's near to us in history. We don't have a lot of like information about like the day-to-day life of somebody from the 15th century, we do have information, but not like as much information. No, I'm kind of interested in the history, but yeah, I don't think I've read books about it. I did read the book by Yuval Noah Harari, but it ends up that he's not like really the most great source. The one called Sapiens, that book, that was a book that's kind of like popular for the regular person about history. I did like that book, but I felt like it's not really a history book, And I've read memoirs, but not that much. Yeah, I'm not really that kind of memoir person. And then I don't think I've read a history book. I did read Woman like the history of women or something. I forget who wrote it, which was quite good about like how women at a certain time during the Middle Ages actually had more power than you would think at that time. Trying to pass ideology. Yeah, Harari is not a history of pussies, a biased view. Yeah, exactly. So yes, technically, I haven't read a book by a historian. So prehistory more fascinating, but we don't know much about it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, so that's the thing. I mean, my dad doesn't really read books. Like, he reads The Economist, but I don't think that he reads books. I think that he used to read books when he was younger. But now he's working so hard. And also, my dad had to go through a colonoscopy, and I really feel sorry for Bloemen op Bodet if she's still here. My mom was laughing at my dad, and I wasn't really very happy about this. But yeah, my dad is probably autistic, and he had to deal with this, and it was quite a big thing. And I'm sure that this was really worrying for him, all the steps they had to take. But he didn't even need to do that in the first place, and I told him that like before he was going to do it. But yeah, my dad had to take some time off work, and that was extremely stressful for him because he's like literally like working like 60-hour work weeks. So taking a whole day off work is like, you know, the end of the world for him. And so I don't know what to say, but he just, I don't think that he has the time to read, even though I think that he's very interested in history. And my brother, he's in university for computer science, so I don't think that he really is reading about other subjects at the moment. But my brother is very interested in geography and geopolitics and that kind of thing, which I am not really into. Yeah. I do, like when I was little, I used to really be into ancient Egypt. I kind of put myself in the position that like, oh, in ancient Egypt, would I be a scribe or would I be, peasant? Or like who would I be? And I was like, well, I guess that the best for me would like I'd be the scribe, and I'd learn to draw these really nice like Anubis like stuff. Or maybe I could like be the person who like engraves stuff onto the pyramid walls. I was really interested in like the mythology, like Ray and the sun god and stuff like that. And I also read a book about medieval times. My mom used to sell books, Osborne books, which then in the end like didn't do so well. So we still have the books at our house in the middle of the hoard of stuff. But so she has, she would sell these books, and so she thought that it was really good because I would get to read the books, so we got like free books for ourselves. So I got to read, and there was one book that was about, it was like a big thick book, but it had pictures in it and stuff about medieval life. And I was like, well, okay, so if I'm a peasant at the time, I would be eating a sliver of cheese, but that's it, like for the entire day. Or I would be a princess, or I would be a knight, I was wondering like, oh, are there female knights? Oh, there's Joan of Arc, like I could be a female knight. I could, and that's the kind of imagination that I would have. Like, oh, I would imagine myself in different time periods. Like, who would I be in that time period? And I realized that a lot of people just don't do that. I thought that this was something that everybody did, but apparently not. But yeah, so I do that. And we did do like at the end of one of the school years, I think that I was like 7 or 8. Yeah, something like that. And we had this music teacher in primary school, and she went to like she retired while I was in primary school. And one year we had to do a song that was from the Middle Ages, and so we had to dress like the Middle Ages. And all the girls were dressed in a princess costume, and I was dressed like a peasant with like a little head covering thingy, and then with like this little vest that had like Provençal patterning, and like this red like food dress that my mom somehow had. And like we had, it was kind of awful actually, in that we, some of us had to play the part of the peasants and some of us had to play the part of the rich people. And like we had to pretend that we were begging for money from these rich people. It's like, it kind of, because we were kids, it kind of got translated into real life because we couldn't really tell what was real and what was not because we were playing pretend. But like the kids took it too far. But so yeah, I was a peasant, and so it was a song. It was called like File la laine. So spin the wool. Yeah, we sang to that, but I forget where I was talking. So yeah, I was really embodying the spirit of like, I haven't had a piece of bread for ages, and I am hungry, but I want to dance in my folkloric dress, and yeah, I really remember like vividly trying to embody the spirit of this girl. I think that it was really exciting for me to do these kinds of things. I really like dress up and that kind of thing. I never really got into theater until like a bit later when I had like literally the smallest role. But yeah. Oh, hello, Carm, yay. Hi. You're late to the party as always. Yeah, we're soon ending this. Despite your circumstances growing up, I like that you have compassion for your parents. Yeah, I wanted to write on papyrus. I actually got like a scroll for my birthday when I was like, 9 or something. And I got like the little ink. It was probably all dried up since then, and there was this little like wooden stylus thing that you could dip in it and try to write on the papyrus. I was really into like fonts and calligraphy, but I didn't actually learn how to do calligraphy, so it was kind of a waste. But I did try to write with that little stylus thingy. And I was like, trying to imagine myself as like a Egyptian scribe and what I would say, do I read books? Abed Ok Balde. Yes, I do. But I could go on for ages about the books I'm reading. As I was saying, I'm reading Uncultured, The Culting of America, which is a book that is about the cults, like the different criteria of a cult, and also how America is such a great home for cults, and how the American government is also a cult. And the person who did it is the knitting cult lady on YouTube, and she basically knits and just doesn't look at what she's doing. She's so good at knitting. She just looks at the camera and talks about things. And always very stylish. And she was part of the Children of God cult. And she then left the cult as an adult, and then she went directly into the military. And then she realized the military was also a cult. So she puts things onto like a cultiness scale. So like obviously the army is not as bad as being in the Children of God cult, but there are certain similarities in terms of like the criteria, which is like, you need to have a charismatic leader, you need to have, there are certain criteria, but you don't need to have all of them to be like a cult, like cultish, so, or to be like on the cultish spectrum. So another one is like having neutral language, a vernacular, and one of them, which is true for both, or having a sacred message, sacred purpose, which is like, a certain premise that you have to accept in order to be part of the group. And also having consequences for leading the group. There are like 10 criteria, and I don't know, I forget them, but it's quite interesting. I recently bought a wax stamping. Oh yeah, I was wondering if I should buy a wax stamping. I really do like. So I've always been into like stationery and stuff like that, and wax stamps would be cool. But I do need to get back into like writing letters to people. We'll see how I do about like Christmas letters, Christmas postcards for this year. I feel kind of bad I didn't do it last year, but it was a big, it's time and energy stealer. So it depends on how I'm feeling, but I do enjoy writing letters. It's just, it's such a pain having to do it all. My worst autistic trait is motivation and multitasking. Some of us can either get locked in or not, and either when we read something, we only do that thing only, mantrapism. Yeah, exactly. I would be a philosopher for sure. Yeah, exactly. Currently reading the Zohar, a medieval text that describes creation from a Kabbalistic perspective. It's a very interesting. It was written by a Jewish rabbi. Yeah, well, let's just say that I don't read too complicated texts. I guess I'm more into reading fiction, and if it's nonfiction, it's like popular for like the regular person. I don't often read philosophical texts or academic texts. I don't know, I don't have the brain power for it at the moment. So yeah, is 16 personalities a good test for identifying your personality type? Oh, I don't know what to say to that. It's a start. It's a start, and for some people that's the only thing that they're willing to, engage in the MBTI, and that's fine. I don't know anymore, like, what? Oh, Stefan, I was 15. The internet was a different place. Like, I went on Personality Cafe. It was a whole thing. Basically, I did all of the tests that were possible at the time. 16 personalities didn't even exist. I forget the names of the websites. There were several websites. I think that they're probably, some of them have gone down since then. There was a kind of an MBTI craze at that time because everybody was really into like personality quizzes. I was telling Bufo about like personality quizzes is like, I think that as a millennial, you kind of, I think that we all went through a phase that where we tried at least one personality quiz. So I did a personality quiz. I did many of them. And I would always get that I was an INFJ or an ISFJ. And I was like, none of these two really fit me. I don't know which one I am, because I related to the SI description, and at the same time I related to being an NF, you know? But I felt that something was missing. And then it ends up that I asked to be typed by this one guy on Personality Cafe forums, and they said that I was an INFP. And I was like, wait, no, that doesn't fit. And they were like, well, maybe you're an ENFP. I was like, no, I'm not an ENFP. And then I realized, oh yeah, I am an INFP, because I had a kind of stereotype of what an INFP was, and I thought that they were just daydreamers, and that they were kind of silly, I guess, that because, yeah, it just felt like, and also I didn't feel like I was a perceiver because I needed structure. At the time I didn't know I had autism, but like I needed structure. And then I realized, oh, but introverts, their primary function is a judging function. So ironically, an INFP might feel more like they are a judger on the inside than what is first thought, you know, from people who are just watching from the outside. But anyway, the true way of knowing your type is learning about the cognitive functions, right? And the cognitive functions are the Jungian functions, and reading Jung's descriptions is not super great either. I would go on the forums of Personality Cafe, because Personality Cafe still exists, and you look at the pinned comments in the MBTI articles section, because they are articles that are selected from different books. I've never read an MBTI book, but I've read all of the like descriptions of the different types in that. And yeah, so if you're going to go into deep, then you learn about the cognitive functions. Otherwise, just it's fine to just take the 16 personality tests. It's fine. Yeah, take everything with a grain of salt, of course. When I learned I needed structure, I hate ambiguity. But Stefan, are you autistic or not? Because that affects things. I don't know how people come across my channel, if it's because of the autism or if it's because of the MBTI. I'm too shy to be blunt. I try not to offend people, and I'm quite empathetic. It so makes complicated. Well, of course, the brain is complicated. It's just a model. Yes, look into the cognitive functions. I recommend the Sakinova test or do multiple tests. Yeah. It is interesting though, because the Sakinova test kind of makes me into an INFJ, which, or an INTJ even, which is kind of weird. It doesn't really rate me high on any. It does rate me high on FI, but it also rates me high on NI for some reason. I either get INTP, sometimes INTJ. Read for hours without taking a break. I learned that in church. Yeah, well, I never went to church, and I'm quite happy about that. I could have ADHD, but my social skills suck. Well, Stefan, we're not going to figure out your type on a live like this, so yeah, I don't know what to say. But yes, it really makes sense that your social skills suck if you're a thinker. But you know, I'm an INFP with autism, so like my social skills aren't super great either, despite being an INFP. Yeah, the INTP versus INTJ is a pretty common thing going around. It's like the INFJ versus INFP. I don't know how you would differentiate the two. I do think personalityjunkie.com would be maybe a good thing, because I think it's a website made by an INTP. So personalityjunkie.com. hard to tell between one or the other. But yes, it's the cognitive functions that does the difference, because technically INTPs and INTJs have completely different cognitive functions. And I think that NE is difficult for INTJ. There is a big difference also between TE and TI. It's just, I'm not the best person to ask because I'm neither of those two types. But TE is very much into just like being efficient. And I think that INTP's efficiency is not their best trait, but I think that they are very much more analytical, into diving deep and being, the NE makes INTPs also a little bit of a, yeah, I don't know, I think that's more like a troubleshooter kind of thing. INFP and INFJ is a classic, yeah, exactly. Church is actually the best thing that happened to me in my younger years. It was a fun time and a great memory. Well, great for you. But I happen to be a person who is extremely interested in learning about cults, and so I'm scared of anything that even is close to that, even if they're not. Even if they're not. Yeah, also, like, my parents were not religious, so I never did it. And my mom tried to, like, take me to the Sunday school because she was going to sell the books to the English-speaking Christian community, because that's where the great bulk of the English community in my town in France was, the evangelical church. And I remember thinking, like, I hate this place. I'm sorry, I hated the place. The kids, the parents, what they were telling us. I was like, oh, well, that's a fun story. And they're like, you need to learn this. I was like, oh, okay. Like, it was like a lesson. When I knew that this was just a story, you know? I don't want to, like, hurt people who are religious here in the comments, but I'm just saying, like, I did not have a good experience of going to that Sunday school. They also were, like, I remember that we had to make, like, this, I think that some guy in the Bible gets imprisoned, and so we did kind of like a illusion of, like, there was a circle, and on one side you would have a man, and on the other side you would have stripes. And if you twisted the bands on both sides, then they would spin, and then there would be a guy, and you would see the illusion of the, it would look like he was in prison behind bars, right? And I was like, I don't even remember why the guy was put in prison. It was like, this was a completely silly thing. I was like, why do I only have to draw and color things in that have to do with this silly story? I want to make my own story. So yeah, it was completely wasted on me. I didn't understand anything. And also the church kids would kind of like build a little clique, and they wouldn't like talk to anybody from the outside, which I kind of was, because I wasn't there every time. And I guess that they knew, like, their parents had warned them to not talk to me. Yeah, I don't exactly love all the messages that are being taught. Like, sure, I'm all for, you know, being kind to each other, but that didn't feel like that. I admired architecture as well. Being me. Jewel Ingrid. What does that even mean? What language is that? Anyway, regarding practicality, I suck at practical stuff. I am rather attracted to theory. Well, that only says that you're either an INTP or an INTJ. It doesn't say anything more. Somehow, attraction between them can be so powerful. Or between INFP and INFJs? Yeah, well, we all know how badly that ended up for me, but okay. Yeah, I'm not going to get into that right now. We're too late into the life. I'm not going to talk about INFJs. But yeah, I fell in love with certain parts of the Bible, especially the Old Testament. Fortunately, I have good friends there. I'm glad. But I'm just saying I did not have a good experience. And yeah, I don't think that I would get a good experience by going there as an adult either. So that's my take on religion. I also, yes, I've had some spiritual experiences, but that hasn't really convinced me of the idea of a God either. So that's it, I guess. Maybe at some point I might turn to religion in my hour of need. I don't know, but I'm kind of okay with not believing in a God. I do wish that I had a certain sense of meaning and purpose in my life, but I don't want to have that meaning or purpose if it's not true, and I haven't found anything that feels true to me, so there's no point. For me, it's better to not have any purpose rather than having a purpose that is not true. That's kind of my take on it. So I guess I kind of align myself with the absurdists and that kind of philosophy on life. Yeah, I don't think that things are for a purpose. I do kind of like the concept of the inshallah that they have in Arabic. I do like that concept of well, if it's God willing, if it's meant to happen, it will happen. I do kind of have a certain concept of fate, I guess. So I do kind of think that not everything is entirely random, but the spiritual, most of us that know are atheists or at least agnostics. I haven't read any of the Bible. I don't think I want to invest a lot of time in reading that if I can't even read a history book. So I'm not going to be reading anyway. There's so many books to read in the world. I don't think that I'm even... I know that it's an important cultural marker, but in that case I would have to read the Torah, and I would have to read the Quran, and I've had they're really thick books, and I don't know. Yeah, I've heard a lot about autistic people just not really, leaving the religion as adults. But I didn't have a church to leave. I guess that my ancestors were Protestant Christians, or Lutheran or something like that. I don't know. But I never really, I was interested in the mythology of ancient Egypt. I find that to be way more cool in terms of there are gods that can turn into animals, and they interact with each other and have a whole world up there, rather than God having to say to his angels do this, do that. I don't know. I think that we should have hierarchy, instead of hierarchy in heaven, we should have anarchy in heaven. I was thinking about this a little bit because of the entire thing of because Sik was watching Princess Kaguya, and that, I don't know if it's based on a Shinto thing or a Buddhist thing, but basically Princess Kaguya has to go up to the moon. Well, she's actually the daughter of the moon goddess or something. I did end up reading a book about the moon goddess. I forget what it was, but it's always about the cruel world of the gods, and it's there's this, happiness is so empty of meaning because there is no suffering. It's a little bit scary to think of. Like, okay, what if heaven is full of singing angels and like beatific gratitude towards everything in God and world and happiness? And then you're doomed to that forever. Then you're like, yeah, I have beef with the idea of heaven, and I also have beef with the idea of hell, and I also have beef with the idea of God being all-powerful and all-knowing, and then also having children be sick and hurt and bringing famine and stuff to people. Like, ugh, you know? It doesn't really make me want to follow him. Let's just say. Yeah, okay. I didn't want to get into like a super, yes, it's personal and stuff. And Abed, I am sorry, but I might have to be the moderator here, and I might have to take you away actually, and I might have to stop this conversation before it gets into anything bigger. So nobody talk about religion anymore. Let's talk about I need to eat more. I'm going to eat more. Change the topic of conversation. Ask me a question or something, and then we're going to end the live. Okay. Right, we're going to end the live soon, but okay, how long will you stay in pediatrics? Good question. I mean, technically it's 3 months, but they have kind of scared me now because they said, oh, well, if you're working 80% and 1 day a week is going to be back at your healthcare center, then you're only at our place for 60% of the time. So you might need to prolong your stay with us. It's like I don't have the energy to fight against that. Like, okay, if they're going to prolong it, then let them prolong it. It's fine. I know that I can't go back to working 100% again. I can't. I did that when I was in internal medicine and I almost died. So I'd rather not. So I'm taking Wednesdays at my clinic and Thursdays free. And when I say free, I mean that I'm booking all of my healthcare visits on Thursdays because I can't otherwise. Yep, burnout is bad. Yes, I'm saying that it's pretty shitty. So, and the thing is, I feel like I can't even manage 80% of work. Yeah, I work part-time. Nice to be able to do that. Well, I can, yes, because I do have a doctor's salary, even if it's like not super, super rich. I do have the possibility of working part-time. So usually what I do is that I work until 3, except 1 day a week. So I work 32 hours instead of 40. But now, since I have to finish at 5 when I'm at the pediatrics, because like I can't just leave in the middle of it, then they're giving me 1 day free a week, so I can still be 80%. So yeah, I get the Thursday free, and I really needed that Thursday free last week because I started last week. I felt like it was go, 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 you know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I needed to really just not do anything. Also, I did go to the visits, which I'll talk about later, but at the sexual health clinic last Wednesday afternoon, evening. And I needed the entire Thursday to recover from that, pretty much. Also, the social workers are booked for Thursdays. So if I want to have any chance of having them help me out, then I need to be free at a certain time during the week. So it's Thursdays. Also, by being free on Thursdays, I miss all of like the boring meetings, which are on Thursdays. So that's how it is. But we'll see how that works, because I don't know. I'm just tired of like 2 full days of work, plus a 3rd day at my clinic. I don't know. I don't know if I can even manage 80%. But we're trying. We're going to do this, and hopefully I don't crash. But I feel like I kind of am doing that. Like I kind of got a scare. So the people who follow me on Instagram, they know. But like, you know, I kind of got a scare of like, okay, I really need to take care of my health now before I crash. So that's how I decided, like, okay, I'm going to take the HelloFresh this week. Because I also had like, I got like 25% off for it this week, so that was good. But basically, I really, really needed, that was 20%, I forget. But I'm like, okay, I really need to cook food, and sure, I can eat, like, it's better to be just fed and not starving, you know. It's okay to buy myself ready-made food, it's okay, but I need to make sure that I get myself some fruits and vegetables and vitamins. I haven't bought some magnesium tablets yet, and I don't have any supplements in that sense. But I really need to get my vitamins, and I need to sleep, I need to move, but I don't do any sports. But I do walk to the hospital, which is a 40-minute walk, just one way. So yeah, and I might bike instead because it takes such a long time and I get sweaty anyway. So I will get a lot of exercise doing that. But yeah, I work 80%. So I'm doing all of the things that I need to do. I should be working at like getting strength and muscles, but I think that I need to visit a physiotherapist or something to like know like how to do these things without like completely hurting myself, because like I have like a shoulder that cracks, like it makes noise, and it's been doing that for a few months. I also have like elbows that can't carry my weight. You know, I've been doing like push-ups against the wall, but like I feel like my shoulder, I can't do a regular push-up. I've never been able to. But I can't even do the first step, which is doing it against the wall, because I don't have enough stability in the shoulder, in the elbow. And then my knees also. So I feel like things aren't falling apart. And then also my hypertonic pelvic floor or whatever. And then I realized like, oh, I've never been able to breathe for my entire life. And then it's like everything. Okay, Abed, I think that I told you to not do anything and not talk about any Bible stuff. So I don't know how to do the moderation, and I think that I'm going to I don't know how to do this, so I'm just touching the screen and stuff, and I think that we're going to be ending the live soon, so maybe it's not worth it. Yeah, sick is in a particular situation, which sucks, but... Oh my god, Stefan, poor you, poor people. Part-time party time, yeah, well, it's not really party, but it's... yeah, it's the only way for me to manage. Like, I can manage on 100% work, I have done it, but it wasn't good. So thank God I can do this. This gotta work part-time. Yes, thanks, Abed. Like, you talk about something else, but don't talk about religion. Because, you know, it's the kind of thing that you learn at like a dinner party. Don't talk about politics, don't talk about religion, don't talk about money. Yes, and I have already talked about all three. So, about the influenza vaccine, I don't know what Prevnar 20 is. I don't give the vaccine myself, so I don't know. I know that in the US people do a lot of flu vaccines. In Sweden, it's only like risk groups that do the flu vaccines. And I've done the flu vaccine because I'm a healthcare worker. So sometimes I get the flu vaccine, but not always. I don't know exactly what the rules are. I did get the flu vaccine, but I keep getting like, I got sick anyway, despite getting the flu vaccine, which really sucked. So I don't know. I don't know if that's flu or if it's another kind of vaccine. No, I can't advise you on that. I don't know. If you have a disease that makes you have pneumonia, then yes. I guess you should, but I wouldn't advise like a healthy person to get the influenza vaccine necessarily. Anti-pneumonia. Oh wow, it's the pneumococcus vaccine? I don't know how old you are, Stefan, and stuff like that, but like I think that it's only above a certain age that we recommend it, unless you have an actual lung disease. So I don't exactly know, and it's different region for region here in Sweden, so I don't think that there's any, I don't know. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Work-life situation will improve in your near associate. Things that you're saying are not like super duper like you are sick with an actual like, you know, COPD or like a cancer treatment or that kind of thing. I'm not trying to dismiss your symptoms and your problems. I'm just saying that I think that the criteria might be more or less lax depending on where you live and what they do. $160 beats per minute. That's quite a lot. But yeah, fever does give you tachycardia. I don't think they would give you 160. I don't know I don't know why. What that is. I hesitate to diagnose people on the internet. But that is interesting. I don't know. Yeah, poor Sick is having a tough time, so any positive things towards him, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for my situation because I am very privileged to have a job that pays well enough that I don't need to work full time, and also that I have possibility towards holidays and sick leave and stuff like that. So yeah, I shouldn't be complaining, but I am complaining anyway. Because as I said before, I'm French. Anyway, okay, we're almost at 3 hours. I think it's time for us to go to bed. Any last comments? Because yeah, I think I need to sleep. Heart is fine, but just went, but some 5% of this condition with heart just reacts more to adrenaline. Yeah, I mean, you can have extra of that. So I guess that you went to avoid having a fever. I don't know. I would just ask, like, how do you get, like, what are their criteria for giving vaccine or not? If you fit those criteria, then no problem. Structurally, the heart is fine. Yeah, I don't know. Because that would be not a problem in the actual heart, it would be a problem in the adrenaline system, rather. And I don't think that you can treat that. Do you have to, like, take metoprolol and stuff like that? Like pulse beta blockers? Or is it only when you have a fever? Oh my god. Sorry, Stefan, but that is strong stuff. Okay. Yeah, I guess. Yes, I don't know if that is a condition that is something that would qualify you for having to take pneumococcus vaccination every year. I know that, you know, like if you have heart failure and that kind of thing, then yeah, you want to do that, but I don't know about your specific condition. Yeah, I know, but like ivermectin is a strong thing. You know, metoprolol is what I'm used to. I'm not used to these things. That, yeah, of course, it's a cardiologist. Yes, it's only a cardiologist who can prescribe that kind of thing. But like, you know, it's like it starts getting into the digoxin category of like scary drugs that I'm not used to having to deal with because I don't work in that field of cardiology. I work in primary care, so like the medicines that I'm allowed to prescribe are, well, technically I guess I would be allowed to prescribe ivermectin, but I think it would be considered inappropriate for me to do it because I shouldn't be taking care of this kind of condition. But yeah, I guess. I mean, anything that deals with the sinus node and that kind of thing is scary to me. You know, like you're. I did have to prescribe certain kinds of things like that when I was at the internal medicine. But yeah, I can't say that I understand like all the risks and all that. So yeah, I don't know. Probably I would talk to your cardiologist about that. Anyway, if nobody else has any other comments, I think that we're going to end the live. Yes, I'm always in primary care. It's just that I do placements because I'm in my residency program. So I've done residency placement in internal medicine for 6 months, and then I've been also in geriatrics for 3 months, and I've been in psychiatry for 3 months, and I've been in gynecology for 2 months. And so now I'm doing 3 months pediatrics probably, and at a certain point where I'll have to do ears, otorhinolaryngology, ears, nose, throat, and also a dermatology. So that's what we're going to be doing. But yes, I'm always in primary care in general. Okay, have a good evening and good night, Ingrid. Okay, well, bye everyone. So gott, bonne nuit. Good night to everyone else. Yes, that's great. And anybody else who wants to say bye, otherwise I will turn it off. Bye. Bye, Stefan. I hope that you figure it out with your vaccines. Sleep well. Bye.